Gauahar, she calls me her lucky charm as well because it was my first season. It was obviously her first season. She won it. Very bizarre that I was put in back then. I was put in now. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I complete the circle of 10 years. You know, Shehnaaz, she's moldable. The first time also when we met her, it was just like, this girl has something about her. And I remember she sending me a voice note back saying, you know what, my arms a little big. I mean, in her Hindi, I can't even try that Hindi accent of hers. And today, like, I discussed looks with her also. Like, I said, let's do this, let's do that. She's like, oh, this is not too much, it's not too. I said, just trust me, and then we do. Nobody is completely apt on fashion. You look at the biggest of movie stars. There is a drastic comparison from where they began and where they are. My kind of fashion is, anyways, it is shock value. It is out of the box. It is different. People look at it and say, "Ye kaun pehenega?" And I'm like, "Ye tere liye hai hi nahi." Hi, I'm Ken Ferns, and you can catch me on midday.com.
Welcome to another exciting episode of BTS Stars, and joining us today we have the man who makes Bigg Boss contestants look as great as they do. That's Ken Ferns.
Hi.
Hi.
Natasha.
And we just saw you in the Bigg Boss house yourself for a very crucial task. So what was that experience like?
I am not designed for that. I am designed to design. So it was a pleasant surprise for me also when I was asked to be on board to host the most crucial nomination task, and there was no preparation. I mean, obviously I watched the season, so I could pick up on points, but I think that was quite interesting for me as well, because I never saw myself do that, you know, like sit and like blabber to your top 5 contestants and literally mislead them and distract them into speaking with me. So I think I did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's 10 years now. So how do you survive season after season?
You know, I think there's always an excitement for each season, you know, because technically I am one of the few internal people who get to know the names first, because I am the one who's authorized to meet them, to go and spend time with them and in fact analyze their personality, and then then discuss it with the main creatives. Ki, oh, this person is of this kind. You know, what you see on social media is different, and what you see the person is real is different, because I'm the one who goes to meet them. So I am pretty much a catalyst to make the conversions and create personalities in their wardrobe.
So let's take you back to when you started with the show. How did you get associated with the show firstly?
God's been kind. I think it's also my family, my parents who really pray. I think they pray enough, they can compete with the Pope. But all the projects that came to me, I just took them up without me possibly knowing about it. Like, I've never watched Bigg Boss till I actually did the first season. Wow. I never watched a Jhalak Dikhla Ja or a Nach Paliye till I actually started work on it. So I also came with a fresh approach, because possibly people had seen things and had a way of treating it, or had a way of working around it, and I was just like, this is something new, and I did not know the magnanimity or the popularity of a project. I was just like, it's a project, so just like do justice to it, and that's how I began.
You started with the fab season, Gauahar Khan herself.
Yeah.
Any memories of that time?
Many memories. Like Gauahar, that's what I share with her till date. You know, like she calls me her lucky charm as well, because it was my first season. It was obviously her first season. She won it, and that golden gown, she still treasures it. And immediately after that, I was obviously doing Lakme Fashion Week in those few years, and she walked for me immediately after the Bigg Boss, and she obviously got massive recognition, and she looked phenomenal, and it just helped both of us. It was like two to tango kind of thing, and both of us cherish these moments of togetherness, and in very small ways. And in fact, even in that season, I was put into the house. Okay. I was put into the house for a makeover, kind of a secret task. I mean, I don't know whether people remember that, but if you go back to the finale episode, you will see glimpses of me. You will see Gauahar coming into the room and saying, "Oh my God, Ken!" and all of that excitement. And very bizarre that I was put in back then. I was put in now. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I complete the circle of 10 years, and I think now I have to move in different directions. I don't know, but let's see.
And since we are just out of the finale, so if you'd like to break down the finale looks of the top 5.
It's always a challenge to to construct a look for them, because I mean, I always tell people it's not my personal fashion week or my personal fashion line wherein I do what I please. Here I am actually presenting a personality that has been an audience's favorite. So I am catering to a style and a representation of what the audience also believes in, what their ideal should look like eventually. So I put all of those aesthetics in mind before I actually create a look. And of course I cater to the personality of the individual. Like for example, as Shalin, I told him, like, you need to show stuff, you need to be a little sexy, you've got that body, flaunt it. And I put those things into practice, and I designed his look accordingly. I mean, I gave him a nice transparent kind of a suit. I didn't give him a shirt. You don't need a shirt, you have that body, so flaunt it. So likewise for Priyanka, she developed, she blossomed into being a fashionista. She tried. What I appreciate about Priyanka, she's always been trying. It may not be the top of the game, but there is an attempt of trial. I could imagine her to be this complete glamazon, with that red gown, very couture, and the off shoulder. And I think she killed it. She nailed it with that look. And Shiv, I promised him that I'm going to make him look like a star boy, and this red carpet feel, and which is why I implemented that. I mean, I could have given him. We were also thinking, like, should we do like a little Indian zone for him, because he's a Amchi Manus and the typical Marathi Manus, and he caters to that kind of an audience. But I know that Shiv wanted to look differently, so I imposed that. And I obviously sit with the entire creative team. It's not just me. We all sit together and branch out thoughts and come up with ideas, like, can we do this? Should we do this color? Should we do that color? And eventually we all decide on a particular look, and that's how we go about it. And of course, MC Stan, our most iconic winner, I would say, because I remember the prelude to the whole top threes, and we were like I was like eating all my nails and like, oh god. And then as and how it progressed, we work on the project, but yet we get these surprise attacks that even we are uncertain about. So for him, yes, I wanted to keep him in his swagger zone, in his he is of an international talent. And he might be from P-Town, he might be from the Basti Kasti, but he's a global sensation. And I wanted to give him that touch, and I want him to make him feel very international and very out there. So which is why even in the heat of the sun, I gave him an overcoat with fur, because see, it is what you see. Nobody's going to judge the temperature. People are going to just look at how he looks. So I wanted to give him that oversized coat and the long trench coat with the fur collar, with the whole swag of a rapper. Yeah, drama. And he is such a timid personality, I mean, I think he churns out all his zest and energy while he's actually on stage performing. Correct. But I told him, I said, you are an artist now, whether you're sitting or you're standing, and you need to look the part regardless. So which is why all the drama in his outfits.
And Archana also had quite a makeover actually. So
Archana, she's this very amazing personality, and she really catches on to you. And with her also, I mean, I wanted to give her a little of an Indian element, but yet keep her very global fashion. So I did this little bronze copper number with her, semi-sheer, showed her legs through the sheer slits and everything. And I think she pulled it off. It had sense of fashion, style, a little sexiness, and yet a little culture in it. So.
And there have been people who have taken us by surprise, complete fashion makeover. Shehnaaz, you work with a lot.
Yes.
So that we have seen her drastic, dramatic change. Then there's Tejasvi, even Archana for that matter.
Yeah.
So what do you feel really worked for them, the way they completely transformed after the show?
Shehnaaz, she's moldable, and when the first time also when we met her, it was just like, I met her like for 5 minutes, and then I was like, this girl has something about her that's very intriguing. Obviously, I discuss the outfits with the contestants before they go in. It's no surprise. It's just that the finale is all surprise. They have no clue what's coming for them. It might be the color that they probably don't like the most, but yet it comes. So that's full of surprises, the finale. Whereas the opening is where I discuss looks with them. I tell them, we are doing this, hum aisa kar rahe hain, hum aisa kar rahe hain, let's do this. We used to send voice notes, and And I remember she's sending me a voice note back saying, you know what, my arms a little big. I mean, in her Hindi, I can't even try that Hindi accent of hers, Punjabi Hindi. So she meant like my arms are a little big, so can we do like full sleeves and this? And yeah, don't worry. And when I met her, she was this very energetic, bubbly and pure individual, you know. And I think that's what works for her yet. And her growth has been phenomenal, and she was ready to change. She was ready to get that makeover. And the fact is, you know, you need to trust people, and we have that that connection. She doesn't know what she's wearing till I actually put her into the outfit. She also learns a lot. She does self-study. She tells me, "Arey, look at this hairstyle. Look." So she is putting that effort to learn. That is very important. And today, like, I discussed looks with her also. Like, I said, let's do this, let's do that. She's like, oh, this is not too much, it's not too. I said, just trust me, and then we do. And I made sure it is pleasant. It still has her character, it still has her personality, and yet because she is capable of so much big, I'm pushing her further to look very enterprising. That's been a successful
Experiment, yes.
experiment.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to talk about her top 5 looks that you've styled her for?
I'll tell you. The first look, what I established in a makeover, I think this is my most favorite look. Yeah, I always believe in shock value. That is the kind of fashion I believe in. I mean, I like people's head to turn, and which is what I did with her. And she had no clue of what we are doing. And I just told her, I want to do this wig, I want to do this white hair, I want to give you this crazy international appeal. And we killed it. And that was the first bang on, crazy, unexpected look that people saw. And people couldn't even like, people were like, oh, that's her? This again is this very soft, romantic, you know. And of course, we shot all of this with Dabu Ratnani. So it was a game changer for all of us because all of us were really excited about doing something nice, different, representing style, fashion, youth, and very graceful attempt for a makeover, you know, not being just outrightly bold, keeping a lot of aesthetics in place. And there's some yet going to come out which are going to be like bombastic. Like, I'm going to speak about it right now, but those are going to be like, what? One of my most favorite looks, which Shehnaaz is also, when she was going to Bigg Boss after a gap. But it was just too emotional for all of us, and I think that's when I got her to wear the beautiful pink Manish Malhotra sari.
Oh, that's amazing, yeah.
And she looked like a goddess in it. And yeah, that is actually one of my favorite Indian looks. And you know, she always, you know, who doesn't dream of wearing a Manish Malhotra? Manish was so kind enough to be so supportive. When good-natured people come together to do something good, no? It shows, it reflects intensively. And it just flared up. It just looked so beautiful. It was just apt for the appearance, and one of my favorite looks.
And I know it's difficult for you to choose, but since you've been part of so many winner episodes and, you know, obviously people look forward to the finale looks. So anyone that comes to your mind that was a real challenge maybe, or that's really close to your heart?
You're talking about this season or in general?
No, all the seasons that you've been part of.
All the seasons.
It's difficult to choose, I know.
I've had some fantastic winners' outfits that really looked good, and the winners looked great. Sidharth, too dear. I still remember that, you know, so many seasons I've done, I've never stood in the audience to see, to witness the raising of the hand moment. But I remember standing in the crowd over there, you know, like this, my fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed, like, and we were like, oh God, what is happening? And eventually he won. Yes, for me, Gauahar will always be special because that's my first season, that golden gown. MC looked great this season too. I mean, it was, you know, every time I try to do something different because I'm the one who's doing it all the time. So how do I keep differentiating? How do I keep raising the bar? So I think from where I've started to where I've come to what I'm doing, I've always tried to do something different and something that, you know, completes the personality and doesn't take away from the personality. So I think there are many favorites, but these are a few of my memorable ones.
And any advice that you would give aspiring stylists and designers as well from your journey, something that you learned?
every day is a learning process, to be honest. I just feel that people who are aspiring should not should be very patient and definitely hardworking. There are no shortcuts. I always tell people that this is a pickling industry. You are not going to be so tasteful. It takes time to develop as a personality, to develop as a instructor, as a tutor, as a fashion, as a designer or a stylist. And you need to keep learning, and you need to be humble, because I also say you're not that kind of a magician yet. So stay cool, stay calm, and just work and just be busy and do good.
And especially when it comes to TV stars, since you have worked with so many, there's always this thing about, they're not maybe 100% when it comes to fashion. Like, there is this opinion.
Yes, and so, it's all right. I mean, nobody is completely apt on fashion. You look at the biggest of movie stars. I mean, there is a drastic comparison from where they began and where they are. So everybody needs time to transform. Everybody needs time to adapt, to understand fashion. I mean, I'm grateful that I've been a part of so many shows or so many things to do with television, and I've really change the dynamics of how people dress up on television. And television technically is more seen. It's household name. People come from different backgrounds. People come from different stratas or understandings or no understandings. And to put a little, little seedlings of style, fashion, color, like I to even hold people's bodies and make them sit, stand, and tell them how to even have their shoulders. And I do whole, like, it's funny, but I actually do that. Yeah. I tell them how to sit and stand also, because they don't realize how to sit in an outfit, how to sit in a skirt, how to sit in a gown, how to maneuver an outfit. So I do that because that's presentation.
But that's definitely changing. Like, people are looking up to TV stars, and they have a bigger following than movie stars as well.
Absolutely, they do.
Does the pressure increase with, diet sabya and all that scrutinizing?
There's honest scrutiny is different and business scrutiny is different, and fashion is all about opinions. Like, if you might love red and somebody might just hate red, so the one who hates red is never going to be able to appreciate red. So who cares? And you know what? My kind of fashion is anyways not. It's not a romantic book. Everyone is not going to love it. It is shock value. It is out of the box. It is different. People look at it and say, "Ye kaun pehenega?" And I'm like, "Ye tere liye hai hi nahi." I'm not a people pleaser. I don't try to please people with what I'm doing. I do what I love, and if it fits your bill, you can appreciate it. If it doesn't fit your bill, you can say whatever you want to say. You're allowed to say, but it's not going to affect me.
And since you've also done shows like Jhalak Dikhla Ja that you just spoke about, so that must be quite a challenge, because different dance forms.
That is a challenge, because it is so hectic. I'm churning out like 25-30 outfits for celebrities who each one thinks that they're better than the other. It's more than fashion that I'm doing, I'm telling you, to be very honest. And concepts, it's all conceptualized. So again, it's not what I want. It is what the song is. It is what the dance routine is. It is what the prop is. It is what the song has been rendered to. It is then whether it's a horror act or an emotional act, or so the color presentation, the treatment of fabric. It's so much. It's so much of study, and I get literally like 2 days or to 3 days every week to churn out that chunk of outfits, to which again is going to be scrutinized, to which again is going to be televised, to which again people are going to say, "Oh, she look good," oh this, and I'm like, but it is a tough job, and my team is the biggest. I mean, they need massive appreciation for such kind of projects, because I mean, I am the creative brain. I am the one who, like the Mastero. But there's so many hands that work on a project like this. So yeah, kudos to them.
But have you had those moments where you've had to really convince a person, they're not convinced about the outfit, and you made it change?
Oh God, there are plenty of those. And you know what? It's not about convincing. It's about, what? I tell people straight up, how many dance shows have you done? So then they say, this is the first one. So then I'm saying, okay, then get used to it, because this is not my first one. So how many times have you danced a salsa on a salsa track? How many times have you done a bachata? How many times have you done an item song? So when you've never done it, it's your first time, you shouldn't judge it. You leave it to the professionals, like the choreographers who are, putting so much effort to create that routine. the makeup and hair team to create that look, the designer who's creating that look just for you to look good. So leave it up to us. You do the dance. It happens a lot of times because certain artists do want to get into everything, and then, but you're not a designer, you're not a makeup artist, you're not a choreographer. So I think it's best when people leave what others do best to them.
And any advice for people, particularly who want to be on TV or on a reality show?
Oh God.
Anything that you'd
That-
like to
I
share?
think I know how many people who want to be that, and I just tell people, it's not about because you're seeing other people. Do you really feel that, and do you really believe in that, and are you ready to walk the mile? I think people want shortcuts.
Correct.
So I don't know how to advise people on shortcuts because I have never taken any, and I've never had the privilege of any. So I just tell people, have the patience, do your job. You work on yourself. Others will work on you. If you're an actor, if you're incomplete in a certain acting skill, if you're a dancer and you're incomplete in a certain dancing skill, you are incomplete. So if you complete yourself, everything around you will just happen to you.
So let's find out what you have this year coming up.
My passion is fashion. So I'm going to be retailing in I think around 8 to 11 countries through Splash Fashions. So that's my collection that's coming up, which I had done pre-pandemic, and now after this entire thing, I'm relaunching it. Okay. So that's something really exciting, and it's a pure Ken Ferns resort wear line. I do have a couple of films coming up which are very intriguing because they are films based on costume design. So I'm really excited about that because there's a lot of research. And I like to do that. There's a study, there's a thesis to fashion, style, costume. So that's coming up. And I have an international show coming up, like Fashion Week. So a lot of fashion in this year. And as and how projects jump into my lap, I will figure it out and deal with them too.
Looking forward to all that wonderful work. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.